What is up, guys? Welcome back to Cop Logic. It is your match preview for Liverpool versus Arsenal in the Premier League. Match day 18 of 38, and arguably the biggest game in the Premier League so far this season, certainly for Liverpool. It's a chance for one of these teams to go top of the tree at Christmas. And as far as Liverpool are concerned, the objective remains the same. I know everyone was disappointed with the Manchester United draw at home, some people more than others. Had we beaten Manchester United, we'd still have to beat Arsenal today in order to stay top of the table. And again, despite the results against United, we still have to beat Arsenal today to go top of the table. So the objective in that sense remains the same. Liverpool have to beat Arsenal. It is a must-win game. It's not only a chance to go top of the table, but it's a chance to make sure that Arsenal drop 3 points. So you can call it a 6-pointer if you want. Either way, absolutely massive game. Some stats before we jump into the player selection. In terms of past head-to-heads, Liverpool are unbeaten in the last 10 home games against Arsenal, which includes 7 wins and 3 draws. So they're pretty promising stats in terms of what we can expect from the game. And interestingly, Arsenal have failed to keep a clean sheet against Liverpool in the last 15 meetings. So again, we can expect goals. I know, again, people were upset with the United results being a 0-0 especially, but if you actually look at the stats of that game, Liverpool had 34 shots, just failed to score, which is fairly rare, and that is a high volume of shots. Liverpool actually have the most shots in the Premier League so far this season, and on top of that, we have the second highest XG, only behind Newcastle. So I do think there's going to be goals in this game, especially with the importance of it. I think the atmosphere is going to be amazing as well, with it being the last game before Christmas and how big of an occasion it is in terms of one of these teams is going to go top of the table. So I think all of that is going to amount to a really good, explosive and exciting game. Who for and how many is what it's going to come down to. So with that in mind, let's jump into what I would go for in terms of team selection for this game against Arsenal. First up, obviously in goal, we're going Alisson returning between the sticks. Now, obviously, Creven Kelleher played against West Ham in the Carabao Cup, but that's his competition, which is perfectly fair of Jurgen Klopp. But given the gravitas of this game and what's at stake, Alisson Becker obviously returns in goal. In terms of the back line, we're going to do them all together because I think it's quite simple. We're going with our strongest possible defense for this one. So obviously Trent and Tsimikas as the fullbacks, and I'm going Virgil and Konate as the centre backs. Now, there is an argument that Trent could play as the holding midfielder because it has been working in spells, but I actually think it's better that way. I think we can really utilise Trent as an asset late in games, maybe like the 60th minute or 70th minute, somewhere around there. You bring Gomez on at right back, you move Trent into that holding position, and it almost changes the game entirely. And now for tired legs, that could be a massive asset. So I think that is a fairly solid tactic that's been, it's hit and miss at the moment, but it's going to take Trent time to get used to that position. And the more game time he gets, the more used to it he's going to get. Like, it works really well sometimes, and then other times not so well. So, but I do think it's an interesting tactic that Jurgen Klopp is starting to employ a little bit more, and I think we are likely to see it in this game in terms of other changes surrounding the team that I'm going to get into as we pick other players. But that's what I'm going to with the back line. In terms of Kostas Tsimikas, obviously Robbo is still out, so we have to play him, but I actually think he's been putting in some really good performances lately. He's really come into his own. He just needed time. When he first came into the team after Robbo's injury, he was a little bit hit and miss, a little bit shaky with performances, but he's gotten better and better and better as the games have been coming, and that's all it takes sometimes. Sometimes it genuinely does just take time. I feel the same way about Joe Gomez. The more time he's got, he's looking really good every time he plays. Thought he looked great against West Ham. So yeah, I'm really pleased with the progress of Tsimikas especially, and I've got no issues with that back line. In terms of CDM, unfortunately Alexis McAllister's still out, so we don't really have a choice. Wataru Endo has to play again. Fatigue could start to become an issue, but again, I think the change with Trent Alexander-Arnold is something that will happen in this game. I can see Joe Gomez coming on maybe like 65, 70 minutes, something like that, and moving Trent up into that holding position, bring Endo off, and it changes the game because you become much more of a threat, I mean, Endo's been great, by the way. His performance is amazing. His performance against West Ham was one of the best of the whole team. If you go and actually look at his stats, his passing accuracy is like 95%. I mean, he's actually performing really well. So he's certainly not coming off for any sort of issue that I have with him. I just think it actually completely changes the game when you move Trent into that holding position. It changes our team completely, and I think against tired legs, when they're sort of used to the way we're playing, the game's starting to slow down, and then all of a sudden everything switches because you move Trent into that one position. Like, I think it's a really influential change and a really strong tactic that Klopp's got up his sleeve now. Right mid and left mid, for me, Dominic Szoboszlai has to start. I think whilst a Alexis McAllister's out, Szoboszlai really has to start every game, or at least all of the big games, because I do think it's important that you keep some identity in a team. I don't really want to be playing a midfield that have never played together, like for example Harvey, Curtis, Endo. So for me, I'm going Szoboszlai has to be in there as a mainstay, and then whoever joins him, you know, there is an argument that Harvey could join him. I'd probably play Szoboszlai on the left and Harvey on the right if that was the case, but Curtis Jones's performance against West Ham was amazing. I mean, he was man of the match, deservedly so. He was involved in goals, he was involved in the attacking play and the build-up. He was outstanding against West Ham. He's absolutely earned his place. Hopefully he can put on a similar performance, because we're going to need it. This is going to be an absolutely massive game. But for me, Curtis Jones gets the start alongside Dominic Szoboszlai, with Wataru Endo in the holding position. The big one is going to be who we're starting up front, so let's get into that. So we'll start with left wing, because I think it's fairly obvious. Luis Diaz was rested against West Ham, and that's probably because he's going to start against Arsenal. Now, for me personally, what I would have liked to see for Arsenal was Cody Gakpo on the left wing, Darwin Núñez down the middle, and Mohamed Salah on the right. Unfortunately, I don't want to single out Luis Diaz here, but if you actually look at the stats, he does seem to be escaping criticism this season. There's a really big spotlight on Darwin Núñez and his performances, but if you actually go and look at the stats, Luis Diaz in the Premier League, only 3 goals and 0 assists, which means he's not really getting that involved in the creativity up front. I mean, 0 assists is not great to look at, and I actually think if anyone needs maybe a little bit of a spell out the team, it's probably Luis Diaz. You know, Cody Gakpo, when we bought him from PSV, was a left winger. There is no reason that I can understand why we wouldn't give Cody Gakpo a spell on that left wing and see if it changes anything up in terms of the attack. But I think the fact that Luis Diaz was rested against West Ham is a clear indication that he is going to start this game. So I'm going Luis Diaz on the left wing. Right wing, of course, has to be Mo Salah, not only because Ben Doak is out injured, but, you know, this is the biggest game of the season. We need our biggest player of recent history in Mo Salah. He has to be playing. He obviously has to be starting. So that's a no-brainer. What we do next is the big decision. For me, I'm going Darwin Núñez. I still maintain that he is our biggest attacking threat in terms of what he offers the team, the explosiveness, the spaces he opens up for other players. You know, his GAXG is still really, really high, one of the highest in our team. In fact, it might be the highest in our team, actually. I don't think you can argue that we are more of a threat with him on the pitch than without him. He was very unlucky not to score against West Ham with that shot just on the edge of the box that hit the post. It would have been, I mean, what a spectacular goal that would have been to break the drought, but hopefully instead he can do it in this game, which, you know, I'd be more than happy with. I have a feeling Jurgen Klopp is going to start Cody Gakpo down the middle, just because Luis Diaz is bound to start on the left, so I can just see that being the case. Cody Gakpo getting a start here, but for me personally, I would go with Darwin Núñez. There is an argument that at around 60 minutes, you move Trent into that holding position and you bring Darwin on for like Gakpo, for example, and that explosiveness between the two of them, the link up, it could actually win us the game. So, you know, I can understand if Jurgen Klopp leaves him on the bench in order to bring him off as a game changer late on, because that change with Trent and bringing Núñez on could be absolutely massive. But for me, I just think he should be started. I do think we are more of a threat with him on the pitch. Even when he's not scoring, it's just the spaces he's opening up. And he was involved in a goal. You know, he got the assist for Curtis Jones against West Ham. It's not like he's playing badly by any means. So for me, I am going Darwin Núñez, but I could see Klopp starting Cody Gakpo. So let's move on to score prediction, which is the big one. If we take a look at the Opta stats down below, Liverpool, 40% chance of a win, a draw at 26%, and Arsenal with 34% chance of a win. So at least we are favourites for this one. You would expect that though, being at Anfield. The draw percentage is worryingly high, actually. You know, there is a chance here that this could be like a score draw, 1-1, 2-2, something like that. But I think, look, one of these teams has to win, you know, because both of them are going to want to win so badly. We need that Christmas storyline where one of them wins and goes top of Christmas, and obviously I'm going to go with Liverpool for that. So for me, you know, if you look at those stats, Arsenal failing to keep a clean sheet in the last 15 games, there's going to be goals in this game, and I can't see a repeat of Manchester United. Obviously, the other thing is Arsenal are going to come here to play football, unlike Manchester United. So, and that's going to help us. More space on the pitch. It's going to allow us to open up a little bit and actually play our football. So there's going to be an expansive game. I think it's going to be an exciting game. And there's definitely going to be goals. I am going to go, look, I mean, we've got our strongest back line. I do think we probably will concede. Arsenal are a big threat. You know, they're not top of the table for no reason. I'm going to go Liverpool 3, Arsenal 1. That's what I'm going with. Liverpool 3, Arsenal 1. Liverpool to be top of the table at Christmas. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Get your score predictions in. if you're going to Anfield for the game, I'll see you there. Well, you know what? It's Christmas in it, so have a great Christmas, everyone, if you're watching this, and we will see you in the next video. Peace.